so the first one, that's a Jeff, I don't know if Shui, I'm not sure. It's a 1/16th scale SS machine gunner resin kit. I built that one about 2 years ago, and I painted it, and I tried to weather it, and something chemically happened with the paint, and I was using pastel powders for the weathering, and it just gummed up. It looked terrible. I loved the figure, so I threw it in the back of the closet for a while. I stripped the paint off of it and just totally redid the figure. Figure went together really well. That guy's figures, I mean, if you're interested or ever have a desire to do a large-scale figure, they're really good ones to put together. I think they run about $60, which is not bad for a 1/16 scale resin figure. The detail the guy does on his face, on the face, is just amazing. I think it's probably better than Alpine or any of the others. Really like the kit. I forget who did the base for it. I haven't done a lot of groundwork, and so when I get the figure done, I always have plans to do something big for the base, and then I go, no. So if it's something I can slap together and paint, I'll put it on it, but I haven't played around much with ground cover yet. But I really liked how he turned out this time. It was just a lot of fun to put together. The figures like that, from total time for me to put it together and paint it, probably about 12 hours, maybe.
Wow.
Well, because everything's single color. It's not
Right.
the multicolored camouflage uniforms take forever, but the single color camo, face takes hour or two, hour for, the tunic, hour for the pants, a couple more hours for this and that, the other thing. Just really happy with how that turned out.
So the question I have is, when you do figures, I've read and heard that people say you start with the flesh first because it's lighter, then you work with the uniforms. Is that how you do it?
I do the face first, and then I just paint it from the head down.
Okay.
I've heard some people, I think Shepherd Paint always said, you paint it like you dress it, and I just start from the top and work down, and I'll do like this one I did the jacket first, and then I did the shirt underneath it, and then the details on the belt, and the stuff on the belt, and then the pants, and then the boots, and that was it. And the sling for the MG42 is lead foil off of a wine bottle that I tried playing around with, and I didn't really, it was harder to glue with the super glue. I kind of like doing just regular paper because it's a little easier to get it wet and white glue it, and it doesn't stick to your fingers quite so bad.
As far as foil for things like that, for those of us who don't drink wine, not me, I love it, but like these milk drinks, the cappuccino drinks and what have you, they all got the...
Oh, yeah, with the cap?
Yeah, those work fine. Just every time I drink one, I'll just rinse it, throw it in the box, and a shitload of them saved up now.
Yeah, so that was a great kit. The tank, the T-34, is the ICM that came out about 2 years ago. Went together really well. I mean, no issues with the fit. Instructions were pretty clear. The detail on some of the parts isn't real great. The detail is not quite as crisp as like you'd see from Dragon or some of the other companies, but for the price, it went together really well. It's got a little bit of an interior. It's got a driver's seat and levers for steering. It's got the gun breech and everything on the inside, so if you wanted to have the hatches open, it'd be really easy to just paint that, and then you wouldn't have to worry about looking up on the inside. The only thing I did not like about it is it has rubber band tracks that are in two pieces for each side. But it takes glue really well, and so I was able to glue it down onto the top parts of the wheels. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's how it looked on the box. Because I think it was last month Mark was talking about some tanks, the whole run of the top part of the track doesn't rest on all the wheels.
Right.
It only goes about halfway.
Right.
I just glued it all down. It just was easier that way.
On the Russian tracks, that's usually how it is.
What's that?
On the Russian tanks, like that and the T-55 and C-62, that's how they sit.
Oh, okay, cool. And the lens for the light fell off when I picked it up to bring it in today. It was a little undersized, and I thought it was in there. It fell off, and the carpet monster got it, so it doesn't have a lens.
Red carpet, huh?
So what about the figures? Are
And then
they,
the figures are mini arc Soviet tank riders. I've never built. That was my first ICM kit, and it wasn't bad. I kind of enjoyed it. I have never done any mini art figures before, and they went together really well. No big gaps in it. The detail on the uniforms, the quilted jacket and pants. So the detail on the wrinkles and everything for the uniforms really good. The detail on the equipment was really good. The faces on the figures, though, a couple of them are really good, and a couple of them were just terrible. One guy's face was like flat, and he had this really wide nose that didn't stick out very far. But it wasn't bad. And then, let's see, the Jeep is the Tamiya 135th scale Willys Jeep that I've probably built 8 or 9 times over the years. Went together real well like any other Tamiya kit. And then the figures for that, I'm going to use that in a diorama at some point. The figures for that kit are the Bronco Jeep crew. And they went together okay. I was kind of surprised for Bronco doing such a good job on their kits. The figures had some gaps on the arms. So I hate having to fill gaps, but the detail was pretty good on them. A couple of them, the face wasn't quite as good as some other 135th scale companies, but they were better than the mini arc. That was just something I wanted to slap together. The kit wasn't too hard. The figures weren't all that bad. Putting it together and everything painted up really well. Just a lot of fun to put it together.